Hello and welcome to the BVB update. I'm Stefan Butzko and it's another day of roundup of Borussia Dortmund news of the day and other shenanigans. And today it's not going to be a big news day, obviously, because it's Sunday. So a bit of a slow news day, but nevertheless, I think there are a couple of interesting things there. But before I start with news, I want to add something that I forgot yesterday, and that is the arrival of Roman Bürki in St. Louis City, which of course is very cool. Especially as you see here, all the Dortmund guys. So yeah, big cheer for Roman Bürki, and with that I wanted to just give a quick shout out to the guys and girls at Borussia St. Louis, because they're representing Borussia Dortmund in the Midwest pretty well. So yeah, go follow them on Twitter. And so let's dive into the other stuff, and I guess we'll start with Matthias, because he had an interview in Kicker today and he explained why Edin Terzic is the right guy for Borussia Dortmund. And since Matthias is not very talkative usually, since he is the officially, I guess, the external consultant of Borussia Dortmund, of the front office, where he's sort of explaining the bosses what he observes and then reports back to them, yada yada. But yeah, he's obviously talking about Edin Terzic and the decision that was made, because he is part of the decision-making process. So I think it's quite interesting to hear from him about that, and about the departure with Marco Rose at the end of last season and then ultimately hiring Edin Terzic. He said, of course it played a role that we already had someone at the club who brings a lot of what we want, but it wasn't a decisive reason for the coaching change. Otherwise we could have made a more populist choice as soon as the knockout stage from the German Cup against St. Pauli, but that's not what the club stands for. And then I think he really goes more a bit into explaining why it was pro Terzic and contra Rose in the end. Sammer then said, during Terzic's first stint, you could already sense that the team was shaped by the coach. Players like Mats Hummels and Marco Reus rallied behind him during the more difficult periods, but the most important thing was the development, a high dynamic against the ball, a certain compactness, attacking schemes, and the positional play and position were more and more evident. And an important factor was to see that the team believed in itself despite difficult starting positions, and there were hardly any injuries despite a higher rhythm. So yeah, I would say that is very comprehensive without going too much into the weeds, and I think it makes sense. And he just juxtaposes why Terzic had more evidence or credibility to show for after his interim stint than Marco Rose had after a full season in Sammer's mind. So yeah, I thought it was interesting to highlight to you guys. And let's move on to the next story, and that's from Ruhrnachrichten, and it's about Felix Paslak, who is allowed to leave for a little bit under 1 million euros if an offer comes in. He is 24 years old right now and has a contract until 2023. And according to Transfermarkt, he's valued at 1.5 million. So basically, Dortmund are saying that even though they would love to maybe add another right back in the future, right now there's just no budget for it. Ruhrnachrichten also write that Dortmund first need to free up some budget for David Raum to be signed by either selling Rafael Guerreiro or Nico Schulz. But yeah, for the right back position, they are more keen to watch Leon Semic's development and see how he will fit in. And then, of course, have Emre Can and Marius Wolf as stopgaps in case the main guys, which will be Meunier and Mouret, are out. So, there's that. I think that's reasonable. Obviously, Felix Paslak came through Dortmund's youth ranks and is from Bottrop, and I think he started out his football fandom as a Schalke fan, but I think since then has integrated well in Dortmund. And so, yeah, if he leaves, it would be sad, obviously, because I think he was a fan favorite for quite a while, but it would also make sense. So yeah, next thing on the itinerary, and this is sort of about Sebastian Aller. It's because the Africa Cup of Nations has been scheduled to January/February of 2024. So obviously Ivory Coast are the host nation during that period, and he is playing for Ivory Coast. So that means at the beginning of the next Rückrunde, Aller might miss some time for Dortmund. But the good news is that they have plenty of time to develop Yusufa Moukoko hopefully into a really capable striker and find another striker. Because if you look, for example, at Leverkusen, they have Patrick Schick, they have Asmoon, they just signed Losek, so they have at least 3 capable strikers. So I think Dortmund in that department also need to add, and I think long term this is obviously going to be the goal, but so since this is a transition year, I assume there's only so much you can do. Yeah, so like I said, slow news day, because the next news, literally, in my book, is that Emre Mor joined Fenerbahce. For people who keep tabs on what the previous Dortmund players are doing, yeah, he joined Fenerbahce, and that's all I want to cover. And yeah, people also asked me to cover some transfer rumors. And now this is from Der Westen, who are quoting La Casa di G, who are an Italian portal, and they are reporting that BVB are showing interest in 17-year-old Dele Monache from Serie C team Pescara. So yeah, he's apparently a left winger, and he's compared to Lorenzo Insigne because he's a small and skilled technician. Yeah, make of that what you will. I don't know how much credibility is in this reporting, but that's pretty much all I got for today. So as always, thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.